Good afternoon, comrades and friends. The great thinkers of Marxism, including Marx himself, had a way of anticipating developments. Marx could see in 1848 that the system of capitalist wage slavery would fell feudalism to the ground and overrun the earth. Our founder, Sam Marcy, also had a knack for reading trends. High-tech, low pay, published in 1984, stands the test of time. Like the Communist Manifesto, it is 100 times more true today than when it was written. Quote, statistics appear almost daily in the bourgeois press which show how much of the working class today is Black, Latin, Asian, Native, as well as women, Sam wrote. The most recent study shows that white males are no longer predominant in industry. The workforce is already composed of over 40% women. Joblessness is only one aspect of the changing nature of work in America. The pauperization of work is increasingly evident, end quote. Sam cited Bureau of Labor Statistics reports showing that of people who lost full-time jobs during the Reagan recession, 46% were working for less and 45% were still unemployed. There is nothing different 3 decades later. The pauperization Sam described reflected a cataclysmic shift from an industrial economy to one tied to the service industries. But the traditional union base, the industrial working class, has been pauperized as well. Among those demanding 15 in a union are workers in non-union auto parts factories making barely above minimum wage. Even the union wage in manufacturing has been pulled down. After the breaking of PATCO, the bosses were able to wrest previously unthinkable concessions. A scourge, an evil menace to union solidarity, began to appear in labor contracts, two-tier. It was a clever way to push wages down, leave the wages of current workers alone, but pay future workers much, much less. In 2007, two-tier came to the UAW contracts with the big 3 auto companies. Since then, tens of thousands of lower-paid workers have been hired, replacing the higher seniority workers who left the companies during the bankruptcy. This has brought many more workers of color and women back into the auto industry. Sam commented about the fight for comparable worth, to make work traditionally performed by women pay what comparable male jobs pay. He said, quote, it has broad implications for labor as a whole, since it is an effort to level wages upward by increasing the wages of the lowest paid at a time when the whole thrust of the capitalist economy is to level wages downward. He could just as easily have been writing today about the fight to break up two-tier. That is the meaning of the Chrysler contract struggle. The class collaborationist UAW leadership brought a contract to us for a vote, a contract praised by Fiat Chrysler Automobile's CEO Sergio Marchionne as transformational. It institutionalized two-tier pay. A revolt erupted. Not only was the contract voted down 2-1, but there was organized opposition in the form of T-shirts, leaflets, rallies, social media campaigns, and more. At a parts warehouse in California, first and second tier workers came together, making T-shirts that read, "Solidarity, no more tiers, vote no." In Toledo, they had a rally and chanted, "Hell no, Sergio." We didn't know what might happen if we voted the contract down. But even without the backing of our leaders, and with an unequivocally anti-worker company management, we took a stand for a basic principle: equal pay for equal work. Many of these workers voted to allow two-tier in 2007. What happened? Marx understood that under capitalism, ownership is individual, but production is social. To introduce two-tier, the bosses and their labor statesmen appealed to bourgeois individualism, i.e., it won't affect your pay or your jobs. But now, 8 years later, we are all working together, and we have reached consensus. Two-tier must go. The next contract that was brought to a vote passed overwhelmingly. There were a number of problems with it, and if you read it cover to cover, there are more tiers than ever before. But the lower paid workers are getting substantial raises, and they have a path to top pay. This was not what the company wanted, and it wasn't in the strategy of the UAW leadership. But we fought, and we won, and that has ramifications for our whole class. Thousands of workers are moving out of what were near poverty wages for a family. Even the bourgeois media has credited the UAW with setting the wage bar higher, calling it a boost to the fight for 15 and a union. Workers in the non-union parts plants are calling the UAW wanting to be organized. That should be a lesson to the leadership who have said that we could not win decent contracts until we organize the transplants. Anti-concession activists countered that you won't ever organize the transplants until you show the bosses that we still have a union spine and we demand decent contracts with equal pay for equal work. This contract revolt was an open repudiation of class collaborationism. The standard established by FCA workers raised the bar for negotiations at Ford and GM, whose profits are through the roof. Workers want back everything they gave up. As our comrade Larry Hicks, a GM worker, was quoted in the Detroit News, "They've got plenty of money, so let us get some of that money." And the GM contract is better than the FCA contract in this respect, that second-tier workers not only have a path to top pay, they now get equal health benefits. Under socialism, comrades, equal pay, a concept of bourgeois law, but unattainable from the bourgeoisie without a fight, this will be the norm. There will be no tiers. As Lenin explained in The State and Revolution, quote, "The whole of society will have become a single office and a single factory with equality of labor and pay." But, Lenin elaborates, this factory discipline, which the proletariat, after defeating the capitalists, after overthrowing the exploiters, will extend to the whole of society, is by no means our ideal or our ultimate goal. It is only a necessary step for thoroughly cleansing society of all the infamies and abominations of capitalist exploitation and for further progress. What did Lenin mean by further progress? It is to advance to the second stage of communism, the highest stage of human society, where the world is governed by the words of March The world is governed by the words of March, from each according to their ability, to each according to his needs. Hell no, Sergio, your capitalist system has got to go.